The first technique is just a back massage. So you ask your partner to lay down wherever it's comfortable. We have a massage table here, but it works fine for bed as well. If you're sitting on a bed, you can just kind of sit there beside them and do it this way. With the Vibe Guide, you have it plugged in, and you turn the power on so it beeps and turns red. Now, one key technique that is good to learn with the Vibe Guide and with the high massager is have the handle facing away from where you are, because you're going to grab the Vibe Guide and tilt it like that, like a handle, and that actually allows you to gently press down. The other thing for the back massage is if they're laying, she's in a special position here, but if they're laying on a pillow or something, their head will be turned sideways. So start a little bit lower on their shoulders. Also for their shoulder blades, avoid hitting their shoulder blades with the percussive heads directly. So if they have a small back, you might need to turn it slightly sideways up here. But basically what you're going to do is you're just going to turn on the percussion and ask them how high it's comfortable for them to go. There's 7 levels. And then first you're going to go back and forth twice. And then when you get to the top part again, you then just take it and hold it about every 30 seconds, move it down a little bit. The reason for that is having the percussion vibrate the muscle for an extended amount of time causes the muscle to relax significantly more. At least that's been our experience. So again, to go through it, you turn on your power, it'll beep. Then you turn on your percussion. You take the Vibe Guide, tilt it. Does that feel good, Wendy?
Yes.
Always ask your partner how it feels. Is that good?
Yes.
Can you go a little higher now? Okay, is that good?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got it on full power. Again, I'm holding the Vibe Guide here with it like a handle. Make sure that you don't touch the spine. So one percussive head is above or is on each side of the spine. The spine's in the middle. You hold it here. You make sure that they're level, pressing on the back, and then you slowly slide down. Does that feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can also place your fingers on the spine to make sure that you have it on each side. Go all the way down where the sacral area is, and then work back up. Now I've got the sound reduction heads on here. If you want to have more power for the back, if you're wearing a shirt, the high power percussive heads work fine too. The high power though shouldn't be used if it's for pelvic massage or on the rear, because they can potentially pinch, and they're louder too, but the main thing is they can potentially pinch. So I'm going back down.
You can tell where the tighter areas feel.
Yes, you can tell, and also the person will probably move and respond a little bit, but feeling with your fingers, you can feel the areas.
Yeah, like there.
So I've gone up and down twice. Now I'm just going to hold it to about 30. Down just a little bit.
Yeah, that area feels tight.
It's tight there? Okay. And Wendy's used to giving me feedback on everything. Most partners don't, so it's important for you, the giver, to ask very regularly how it feels. And I'm not truly doing this exactly 30 seconds, as you can tell. I'm just kind of estimating it. Does that feel okay?
Yes. And as the muscle relaxes, sometimes you want to take a deep breath.
And to make this quicker, I'm actually moving a little bit faster than I normally would. I'd normally spend a good 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes on the back, so I wouldn't move the massager down as far as quickly. And also holding the vibe guide towards you, where you lift up and push down, makes a big difference. Because if you're holding it the other way, you've got to reach around and bend things up. This way, it actually makes it easier. And again, as anybody that's trying to be specific, I'm just guessing that it's for roughly 30 seconds each time. Is that more tight there?
Yeah.
And you'll notice that they'll move a little bit if it's tight. In that case, stay there longer. Or you can move it up and down in that area. A lot of people think, oh, this is kind of boring just doing this, taking it slow. But it really, really helps for the relaxation. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can just continually go up and down slowly. But I do suggest that you consider trying this at least once and see what your partner thinks. Now, there's an area in the back here called the lumbar plexus that it's really good to massage this area. Wherever it hurts or is stiff in your back, if the muscles are stiff, try to massage. But the lumbar plexus really helps. You can go down to the sacrum, just avoid the tailbone directly.
And I can actually feel the vibration in my toes.
So when you said you can feel it going down to the toes. Now after you've done this, going down slowly for 30 seconds, what I usually do is go back up slowly for 30 seconds. And what we'll do is have a video of doing this where it's timed, and you can follow along exactly if you'd like, or I'll either do that or I'll make an audio tape of it. But then just go back up. And again, I'm being careful not to hit the spine. Back down again. Watch out about the shoulder blades also. And until you receive this, you really don't know how good it feels. It really does. Does it feel okay, Wendy?
Yes, it is amazing. It relaxes the whole body.
And that's the back massage. So that's step one. Now one thing, always ask them, is it okay for you to do whatever you're doing? And I mentioned that before we started filming Wendy earlier, but always ask. And we'll just do that a little bit more. And now we go to the rear massage. Is it okay if I massage your rear?
Yes.
And again, you will see where the vibe guide plays its role. You take the vibe guide and you just slide it between their legs. Watch out about the tailbone. Don't go directly on the tailbone. Put it slightly to the side. They should be wearing pants or have the sound reduction head covers, because this can pinch in the crease of the rear if you're using the high power head. So definitely don't do that. But place it at the base. Is that okay if I turn the power up high?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to turn the vibe guide on. And I'm going to slide it slightly forward. And I'm just going to hold it right here. For roughly 30, well, again, it won't be exactly 30 seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to very slowly just fan around the rear. Again, with the tailbone, don't go directly on the tailbone. That feel okay? And what the vibe guide is doing is it's acting like a little center point fulcrum, I guess you might say, to keep it in place. It's providing stimulation in the pelvic area. Most women and men find that very pleasant. Now, for men, watch out for the testicles. Do not use the vibe guide, or definitely not percussion on the testicles. So that's with the vibe guide pressed all the way in. I'm going to go a little bit faster. And now I'm going to slide it out just a little bit. So I just pull it back so it gets a bigger part of the rear. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Watch out about the tailbone when you go over this. Also, I have a pillow under Wendy's feet. For some people, it helps a lot to take pressure off. Yes. So now, if you want, you can do just that, and that feels really good. The key areas are deep inside the buttock on each side. There is an area called the sacral plexus. If you press down into that area, all the nerves from the lower leg and from the pelvic area, the genitals, the bladder, they all go into this sacral plexus on each side. It's like a little mini brain. And a lot of times the muscles in the buttocks or the lower back or the hamstrings will tense, and it reduces the circulation to that area and irritates it. And basically, all your data for anything intimate or for anything else is going through there, and it gets, well, it's not even understood. We're the first people to really focus on this, but we found that for a whole host of things, and again, not making any medical claims, but for many things, ranging from pelvic pain to not being able to have an orgasm or anorgasmia, urinary incontinence, many challenges with menopause. If you just massage this area on a regular basis, you go to this side now, it really helps. And your ring will vibrate too if you go in. Now, if you want, another technique you can do is moving it, rocking it in and out. That feel okay?
Yes, and that really gets the sciatica.
Yes, the sciatica, or the sciatic nerve going down to the leg, that really massages that area also. Which the sciatic nerve goes to the sacral plexus also. So you have a area here and here where all the nerves go in, and then at the base of the spine you have this area called the lumbar plexus on each side also. And tension there just makes things not work as well. That's the easiest way to put it. You can watch about the tailbone. Now you can do this a lot longer, and a lot of women in particular and men will ask you to do it a lot longer. But one final technique you can do is, or one of the techniques you can do, there are many other techniques, especially if they have a pillow under their belly to raise their rear up a little bit. If you lift up your hips just a little bit, Wendy, if you place this here, now the progressive head, her tailbone's here, is effectively on the anus, and the lower percussive head is angled into the mons pubis, or the clitoral area, and then the vibe guide is extending over the pelvic bone. If you just, and this is another thing where the woman's input is absolutely critical. Does that feel like a good spot, Wendy?
Yes.
Okay. Just a slight difference is the difference between something amazing and it feels good, but not amazing. So just holding it there will really, really help relax women. And you'll learn quickly there are a lot of potential benefits to this that can come from this. So that, again, is the pelvic massage, or the rear massage, not pelvic massage. To summarize again, you take the vibe guide it between their legs, it stops there. You go to the base of the buttock on each side. Make sure, if they're wearing pants, you can use the high power percussive heads. If they're not wearing pants, make sure to use the sound reduction heads. Turn on the percussion, then just hold it there and move it slowly. Work your way around. And just do that. Watch for the tailbone, however long they like. You can also go up and down like this. And then there's the technique where they lift their hips up just a little bit, and you press this right between their legs, right there. A lot of women find this very stimulating. For men, just be very careful with the testicles. So that covers it for the rear massage. So with the pelvic massage, it's essential that the lady guides it to the right spot. That is, I can't emphasize how important that is. In fact, there are 3 key things that I will say again and again and again and again, because particularly for guys, myself included, we forget this. So the first area, and if you lower your legs just a little bit, is when you feel the woman's pelvic bone right here. The upper percussive head is above the pelvic bone. The lower percussive head is below. So the upper percussive head is pressing right into the base of the belly. The lower percussive head is pressing on what's called the mons pubis area, where the clitoris is. The vibe guide goes between their legs. So you take the vibe guide and you just pull it out, and that puts it roughly, if you lower your leg here real quick, that puts it roughly in the correct spot, where you have the pelvic bone right here, it's above and below. You press the power button in to turn it on, it beeps. Now, is it okay if I do this one?
Yes.
Okay. I turn on the power to just the first level, maybe the second, it depends on the preference, and I just move it gently. But here's the key first point. Could you guide it to the right spot?
Yes.
Only the woman knows what the right spot is.
And she may want to go experiment kind of back and forth and side to side and find the optimal spot and either increase or decrease the speed.
Yes, now we recommend not having the percussive, the vibe guide on initially, because what we found is if a woman uses this the first time,
Yes.
she'll focus on the vibe guide feeling and not the percussion. But once it's in the right spot, basically, do you mind if I increase the speed? Just increase it to the level that she prefers.
And if it slips, just move it back.
Yes. Now, after she's used to it, you can turn the vibe guide on. But until she's had it several times, just leave it with percussion. Again, if it gets out of the right spot, ladies, you have to guide it back. The guy cannot, or your partner cannot read your mind. The other key thing, and women will do this with their partners sometimes, but it's mainly men. What will happen when the woman becomes aroused, she's going to start breathing through her belly faster. It's called vagal breathing. And that's just a natural response. But guys, we get this uncontrollable urge to start rocking it back and forth and moving it around so we can
moves the position.
Yes, so we can make it better. Don't do that. Find the right spot that she's guided it to, hold it there. Ladies, if it gets out of the right spot, make sure you guide it back. Don't be afraid to. And guys, please don't rock it back and forth. That does not make it better. Find the right spot, hold it there, and I think you'll find something magic happens pretty quickly. Now, if the woman has a larger belly, this position doesn't necessarily work, but the second position does. In this case, if you have a pillow under her ear, her lower back, and then she lifts up her legs, this, basically, the upper percussive head goes directly into the clitoral area. The lower percussive head goes right on the anus. The vibe guide just goes past the tailbone. And again, the lady has to, is that right? Okay, the lady has to guide it to the right spot. Now, she won't have her legs up in the air constantly. It'll just be down. But
we're just doing that for demonstrating.
Yeah, so you can see. But, and again, let the lady make sure that she guides it to the right spot.
To what feels good.
Yes, and this is extremely stimulating and extremely good for her pelvic floor. So, basically, you just increase the speed. Does that feel good?
Yes.
To whatever speed that she prefers. You can turn the vibe guide on with that later if you want. And just hold it there however long she would like you to hold it there. Now, if the woman has orgasm, you can turn the power back down to a low setting, or you can keep it going, let her guide you in that. Most women will find that when they have an orgasm, they can turn the percussion down, leave the vibrational stimulation going, and then they'll be able to get going again very, very quickly with a short refractory period. It's different with every woman though, so basically you got to experiment. But this isn't bad stuff to experiment with, so we encourage that. So those are the techniques. Now there are more advanced techniques with abdomen, where not with every woman, but within roughly 8 out of 10, after they've had multiple orgasms from their pelvic area, you can move it up to the abdominal area very quickly, unless they have a large belly. That's covered in a more advanced class. But that is the pelvic massage. So again, after you've done the back and the rear massage, ask the lady if she wants a pelvic massage. It's absolutely essential that you ask, and if she wants to say no, that is perfectly fine. It's her option. If she says yes, you have the Vibe Guide. Right down here. The Vibe Guide is guided. Just let me get this over the leg here real quick. The Vibe Guide guides it roughly to the right spot, above and below the pelvic bone. The woman has to guide it for you, though. You can't read her mind. You
It's
turn
on the lower level, so you have a sense of how it feels.
Yes, on lower power first. Then you increase it to the speed that she desires. If it slips out of the right place, ladies, you have to guide it back. That is essential. The guy cannot read your mind. Then the other final key point is, guys, and please, 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 because you're going to go, yeah, Steve's saying this over and over, but just believe me, you get this urge once the woman starts responding strongly to start moving it and rocking it, and you won't even realize it. So make it a point. And ladies, if the guy starts moving it, put your hand there and say, hey, remember Steve said don't rock it. So this is the first position. The second position is with further down, so that this percussive head, the pubic bone is here, or the pelvic bone is here. This is one percussive head on the clitoris. This is on the anus, right below or right behind where the tailbone is, but you're not hitting the tailbone. So those are the two techniques for the pelvic massage. And if you do this for your partner, you can do it in just 15 minutes, and it will totally relax her and make her feel amazing. Or you can take longer. And there are many, many much more advanced techniques that you can do. This is just the tip of the iceberg, literally. So if you have any questions, you can contact us through our support, or go to our MeWe online group or our Facebook group, and we will be more than happy to answer them. And again, really appreciate you joining us. Doing this technique will show your partner how much you care, because actions do speak far louder than words. And it can become just a ritual that you really look forward to each week, because this is something that you are doing for her just to help her feel good. And it's an expression of your caring and your love and your interest in her. And then later, the arrangement is that she does that for you. Although we have programs on understanding love and relationships, but the key thing here is this is not a point system. This is not you do this for her, therefore she does it for you. The goal is to pay it forward, where you just do it for her because you care. And if she doesn't want to do anything sexual with the device, honor that. Also, she has absolutely no obligation to do anything sexual with you later. Now, oftentimes women will, but that's their choice. It's totally up to them, and always honor that as well. And we have the talk that Wendy gives. Your partner needs to understand the importance of you receiving this massage, and if you have sexual tension, dealing with that in a way that cares for you too. And we'll go over that here in just a moment. But that's the program, and we do appreciate you joining us here, and you will tremendously benefit from this.